can you hear us at home?
Yes, it might, looks good.
7:01. I'm Christopher Dunn. I'd like to call this Beaver Dam Lake Protection and Rehabilitation District Board meeting to order on June 12th, 2024. Time now is 7:01. Welcome. Tonight's meeting is an open meeting in accordance with New York State Public Open Meetings Law. We are live on Zoom from Reserve 4 in our Beaver Dam Lake Community Building. This is being recorded to be posted on the Orange County DPW website through the BDL YouTube account. Quorum tonight, we have a 5-member board at the moment out of 7, so we only need 3 members to make quorum. We have 4 here. Once again, I'm Christopher Dunn, the chair. Roll call.
Larry Weinberg, vice. Jason Eunice, secretary.
Fred Widman, only a member.
Oh, don't ever say that. And Dr. Kevin Boyle will not be with us tonight. He's our 5th member. We still have 2 seats that are vacant, both in New Windsor. Hopefully we can fill those at some point. I think we've mentioned many times about volunteerism. This entire boat stays afloat with helping hands. So we're completely a volunteer member board, and we would love it if anybody that shows interest and wants to speak to us, you know, and wants to be involved in a more involved manner. You can always approach the board and we can discuss. All right, let's do the pledge, everyone.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Is there seconds? Sorry. You got the second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the motion has been adopted. Just real quick, we have a guest tonight, and we've been talking about this for months, and we'll get to that, our guest in a moment. Anybody that's here to, just curious, do you have anything you want to speak, or you just gonna go? Okay. So what we might do, rather than making you wait to the very end, which would be an hour from now, we can get you in a little sooner, okay? All right, last board meeting was held May 8th, 2024. It was only a couple weeks ago. We also had the budget meeting only 10 days ago, right? The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for July 10th. The board has no plans for an August meeting. Big thank yous to all residents who worked on Reserve 4 for the beach cleanup. That was last Saturday. And so you know who you are. Thank you so much. We had almost 20?
At least
16, 18, something like that.
Yeah, 10 plus.
10 plus, something like, yeah. All right, moving right along, because we'd like to get to our guest. Board communications, bdlboard@gmail is the only official means, of course, for communication. We mention that quite frequently. Private group on Facebook is not an official board way to communicate with us. If you do happen to see one of us on there, it's purely because we are residents and we may say things from time to time, but nothing that is said on there is ever meant to be the mouth of the board, and it's certainly not going to be the primary way that we communicate. Also, the admins are district residents, not board members. www.orangecountygov.com. Hit the government tab, hit Beaver Dam Lake. That is the website. It's the Orange County website. That's how you would see all the updated information. Jason Eunice has been working hard this entire calendar year to update the site with our IT person at the county. And every couple of weeks, I would say that the website keeps getting cleaner and more succinct and less redundant, and is starting to, I think, be better, easier to navigate. If anybody disagrees, would like to hear that. The next in-person BDL DPW meeting, we do that quarterly, will be June 27th at the DPW in Goshen. It's not a quorum meeting, it's just maybe 1 or 2 board members go and speak with the commissioner and the deputy commissioner, and just to update them. And all right, Brett, you have a word about safety.
Just a reminder to everybody that there is absolutely no fishing or use of boats at the reserve, for reserve where the beach is. And I think it's obvious that, it's for the safety of swimmers. And, you say, well, if I'm gonna fish there, I'm not gonna be near a swimmer, but anybody who fishes occasionally loses hooks. And, there's nothing worse in the bottom of your foot than a fish hook. So this is why we completely disallow any kind of boat launching or boat travel around the swim area of Reserve 4 and no fishing whatsoever.
Yes.
Yeah, and of course, the address is 557 Shore Drive. A lot of people are confused about the reserve since we have 9 of them, each with its own individual address for 911 and fire safety needs. So we do have reserve number 3. Reserve number 3 is approachable by boat. So if somebody on the other side of the lake wanted to come to the beach when it's open, they could access reserve number 3, which is approximately 500 or so on shore.
2-minute walk.
Yeah.
90-second walk.
You could dock there and then you could take a
Right.
2-minute walk down to the beach if that's so as you choose. So just
Yeah.
wanted to add that in.
All right, great points, gentlemen. Also, we are looking into the signage, in terms of putting a clearer number on the reserves. So, okay, last thing, dam update. It's not authorized in any way to approach the dam. If there's no reserve down there, there's no public access. It's strictly utility. And you cannot access the dam by boat, of course. There are buoys there that are about 100 feet from, and it just kind of warns you of the spillway. Okay, with that, we're going to jump to our guest. We have AJ Reyes. Maybe I should let you introduce yourself, but we've been speaking about AJ for months and months and months. And one of the things that we talked about last summer and the summer before that, first it was obtaining a lake management company, but also bringing in somebody with professional knowledge, a limnologist, a lake biologist, freshwater biologist, to first see what we have here and what could be done. And we kind of came up with a light plan, and I don't want to say too much, but we tested tributaries more than in-lake. There were some in-lake. There's always in-lake evaluations happening with CSLAP, as we mentioned at every meeting, but so I don't continue to run on. Here's AJ. Welcome. Because you mentioned PFAS, I figured I would just pull something from the agenda because if people are listening to this and it might just be, it's prudent. We had promised this in the past. July 24th at 5:30 at the Newburgh Armory is the Stewart Restoration Advisory Board. It's a quarterly meeting. It's specifically for PFAS and PFOA. So it's something that's been happening for a number of years. We were not given the April meeting date and we missed it. We mentioned that at a meeting, but we are going to make sure we have a representative there. Once again, it's July 24th and it's open to the public. July 24th at 5:30 at the Newburgh Army Center. That has to do with the Stewart Air National Guard Base breakout of PFAS we always keep saying it, 1993, and how it pertains to our watershed and Lake Washington and all that. So that's a quarterly meeting. So I thought I would just throw that in, and now we don't need to talk about it later.
Little preview into the results. I actually got my test back from their testing and came back relatively normal.
It was of you.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right. You tested yourself.
I tested.
Yeah, okay.
No,
He tested his body.
yeah, they were looking for volunteers to be tested and I had my blood drawn.
Well,
No.
there's something about.
But I've only been here 7 years.
Give it time.
Give it
So,
He's not just a board member, he's also a lab rat. All right, AJ, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
Once
Thank you so
again,
much.
yeah, thanks for coming and,
Very
Thank you.
informative.
is it, anyone who has any further questions for AJ? All right, I think we'll let AJ go
Thank you so
and
much.
continue
Thank
the
you.
meeting. All right,
Thank you.
Thanks, AJ.
Have a great one.
Okay.
We'll be in touch.
Definitely.
Okay, and obviously, this is something that we've been talking about for a while. It's great to have AJ. That's the person that's been behind a lot of the information that we've spoken about. But just to jump back into our agenda. Okay, swim beach update. Ropes and buoys were installed on May 24th. Thank you, Tom Lark and Bart Raffaele, sorry. Two residents that did a huge job for us. Thank you. So when you drive by Reserve 4 and you see the beach come together, know the importance of volunteerism required for this place, for our special district community to function. The beach cleanup took place on the 8th, just last Saturday. We mentioned that, anywhere between 10 and there was always at least 10 people here. The work went on between 2 to 8 hours. There were even some that were here till the end of the day, till dinner. People here were weeding, raking, lining the beach with existing pavers. There's kind of a frame that's going around the beach at this right now. New beach fence was put up, which keeps the geese and the ducks off the beach. Dead limbs were picked up. The lake was partially raked. It actually wasn't too bad. But it will certainly get raked once again before we open. 5 lifeguards have been hired officially. So that's good. That was something we had discussed before. The Department of Health inspection is the last element to opening the beach. If it happens later this week, then we might open earlier. But right now, the goal is somewhere between June 21st and June 26th. June 26th would be the close of school. That would be the end of the goal. But could it open June 21st? Sure. It's all
Open
about.
without the sand if we need it, because we have enough there.
Yeah, so bringing sand in is something we mentioned. It's more just to bring it up. There hasn't been a date. When the county lets us know about that the PO has gone through, and then I'm sure we'll get a call the next day and the company will deliver it. And we were originally gonna order 15 yards and we decided, let's go with 10 because we had more sand out there than we expected. So we cut the amount. Okay, that's it with the beach update. All right, so the fiscal year 2025 budget was submitted just officially because there were some parts that needed to be taken care of actually yesterday. And see, anything else we have to mention about that? Any comments about the budget? I think we had the budget meeting, we're set. Trying to speed this up. An email on the 29th of May, as discussed, from the board to the community about the tree that's coming down on Reserve 2, very large tree that the DPW is going to take care of it for us. If you go check the last meeting out, at the 27 minutes, 28 seconds, there's actually a part of the board meeting that highlights this. I'm not going to read the email. I was going to. We have had this meeting going now for almost 90 minutes. And this is an email that is available. Once again, please, if you are seeing this, most likely you are on the board email, but if there's some way that you're viewing this and you're not on the board email, maybe your spouse is on it, maybe you need to be on it, maybe your older teenage children need to be on it, please send us an email. All information is good information. More people that are connected with us is better. Dropping down, let's see, to the tree and the board. All right. Let's see, boats. Okay. Also, there is a deadline I should mention that's been given out this Friday, the 14th, before the boats will be moved by the board. So what we're speaking about is on Reserve 2. There were roughly about 25 to 30 boats.
27, now we'll have 10.
Yeah, and some, and we don't need to go into it, but some were stickered, some were not, some are registered, some are not. But at the moment, the focus is to get the boats out of the way. The racks will get picked up and moved because one of the other initiatives of the board was to, so this tree coming down honestly is helping us. It's expediting something because one of the initiatives we wanted to take care of by next year was not only set new policies for boat storage on the reserves, to issue brand new stickers, to re-register, which is a large amount of work for the board to do. But I think the result is going to speak for itself. So when the racks are higher off the ground, you don't have to bend down as much. Our landscapers can clean underneath. The leaves won't be gathering and our landscaper won't have to worry about the snakes that he's petrified of. So any landscaper would not be happy about snakes. And that's what happens because all the leaves, if you go there now, you'll see years of leaves bundled.
Chris, has the
Yeah.
date been set for physically moving the boats that have not been moved?
I personally am gonna go there Saturday and check it out. Do you mean all the boats everywhere or just?
No,
Reserve
just
two?
for the trade relating.
Well, there's not many left. We're giving everyone until 5 p.m. on Friday. Hopefully a few more go. Personally saw that some of the boats that were there, some were not chained. And a word about that, no locks need to be cut, no chains need to be cut this time around. And we say this time around because in the future that could be, but right now, because of the construction on the racks themselves, screws are gonna be backed out, the racks are actually gonna come apart, so any chain that's on it will be slipped off, or chain will not be harmed, but your boat may get relocated to another reserve and it will be a safe place. And just so you understand, just so residents understand, that is a function of the board. At any moment, we can manage county property, and that's one of the reasons why we're here. So trees expected to come down before June 28th at the latest. But the removal could be as soon as the 17th. So if tree crews are ready on Monday, just truth be told, it was the days that they're not taking trees down on the streets of Orange County. If they were down a flagger, that means they wouldn't, like if anybody was sick, those would be the days that the DPW would actually come to cut a tree down for us because they wouldn't be able to work safely on the street. So
We
those
could
are the
be the
days.
backup plan.
So we're the backup plan. So if somebody calls in sick on Monday, they could be cutting the tree down on Monday. And the reserve will be closed. So it will say closed, and that means nobody is allowed to set foot on the reserve till that tree is down and the DPW crew is gone.
Yeah, all this action also protects your property if you're storing it on the reserves. If we were not going through this process and they came to cut the tree and a giant branch came down and your boat was destroyed, it would be nobody's fault but your own. So, that's all I can say.
Bluntly.
It's not a right, it's a privilege to use the facilities to store your boat, so you don't have to drag them back and forth. I don't need to use the reserve. I have lakefront property, so for me, to work on the project is a love for the community. But for anybody who's storing on there, so we've gone through the extra efforts to try to protect your property to keep you whole, just so you would know that.
Yeah, it's gonna beautify, and then in the end, there'll be more capacity for your boats anyway.
Right.
There have been some emails back and forth with the board and some more specifics have been answered to those individuals, in terms of what to expect for next year. But those things will be discussed at future meetings. So just keep in mind that the policy is not changing in this calendar year. When the summer is over and boats are starting to come off the lake, that's when we will hopefully at that point begin our re-stickering program. If there's those people that want to get ahead, residents who want to get ahead before next spring, that would be a good time. We'll say in November, December at least, as long as we have the stickers and we're ready to roll. And that's when we will announce the re-stickering program. Because there are quite a number of stickers on the lake that are quite old, or they are not valid, their numbers don't match the boats that they're on.
It's about 6, isn't it, Larry, that we haven't identified?
He got the 12.
No, there was 12 as we were through the list again.
Oh, okay.
There's just a few that were.
Oh,
Yeah,
And then, just through the A-frames and through communication between residents and neighbors. I've had a number of people, because I can see the reserve from my house. I've had a number of people who've just shown up, and got their property.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, and thank you for that.
I dropped a
That's
few notes
been-
in a few mailboxes and those people did come over and take their property.
Yeah, yes, and thank you for being patient, because once the tree is down, the goal is to, get some of the racks back online, so to speak.
are we going to increase the number of racks,
First, we're going to increase their size.
the size?
So if they're two-tiered, you don't need to build anything new. So we're gonna go with the existing wood that we have,
Mhm.
and we did a lot of money in the budget to order more. It's gonna be a process. It's gonna be a process, but expect it to be. Could it be finished by the end of this year? The hopes are high. Hopes are high. Okay, on to treatments. Pond and Lake Connection conducted its last treatment of the lake Thursday, 5/9 with Natique, which was a herbicide. Next treatment will be an algicide. Originally, James Gorman, who is the applicator for that company, was going to come tomorrow, with the good fortune of cool nights and the fact that the beach is not going to be open for another week or more. We've decided to push off that for at least another week, could be 2 more, so stay tuned. As a courtesy, not a requirement, the residents will be notified by the board via the district email. And once again, all chemical applications, we do give a warning, but just so you understand, the amount, the dosage level of this chemical is not harmful to any living thing. All right, moving to, and we are jumping around because we didn't want to keep AJ too long. Let's see, to summarize, let's see, DEC grants, Fred, anything?
Nothing right now. Again, I've been in contact with Tammy as well as Melinda. And I keep getting told that they're communicating with the DEC and that there is quote unquote plenty of time to fill out that form, because we have 60 days after the termination of the grant to get the paperwork done. So I'm constantly bugging them.
And I'm as itchy as you, because the grant expiration date, I believe, is July 9th.
Yes.
Does that sound right?
So
So,
we've got 60 days after that to finish the paperwork.
yeah, so I did reach out to DPW yesterday requesting if the charges were put for the last treatment as you
Okay.
requested, and for the herbicide.
I just need to know what the exact charge was so I can put it on my spreadsheet.
Got it. Okay, so you just need the amount.
Yes,
Okay. So I might be able to get that through email before they even send the hard copy to us. Okay. All right, so DPW, okay, all right, basis. Okay, just a quick note, this is kind of another public service, resident service message. Non-residents, once again, we say this most meetings, especially in the hot season, in the summer. Non-residents are not permitted, unless you escort them. So please, you must escort your guests. Trespassers and vandalism, you must report, please, to local police departments. If Larry wants to speak, first there was an email that went out by myself a few weeks earlier to, we had spoken to Supervisor Bedetti of New Windsor. He suggested that we reach out to, the police chief of New Windsor. Some feedback happened. I said Mr. Whitman. Mr. Weinberg, has had better results, so go for it.
Yeah, so I did email Supervisor Bedetti, who's always been a huge asset for our community.
Likes you better than me, I guess.
Doing a fantastic job, and I did request that he give me some contacts for the police department in New Windsor and in Cornwall, as we do have reserves in both of those jurisdictions. So Stephen Bedetti then did forward my email to both the police chiefs for Cornwall and for New Windsor. That is Chief Valeri
Valeri,
in
yeah.
New Windsor, and Gebert, I don't know, I believe it's Gebert in Cornwall. So I followed up with an additional email to Cornwall, and he did reply to me today. Both of the police departments have agreed that they will increase patrols, and they are issuing summonses.
Good.
So
Good.
today, as I was coming down here, I did witness the police department down there at Reserve Number 2. Today, during the day while I was home, I did witness numerous passes by the Cornwall Police Department on Reserve Number 2. And both the police departments have agreed that they will take action. And again, vigilance by the community is important. If you see something, say something. Please remember, we pay for the privilege to have this beautiful lake in these reserves. It really is. It's private, even though we don't sit here and talk about, who are you to say this is private? The point is, if you don't live here, you're not supposed to be using the facilities unless you have escorted guests. Bear in mind that currently we do not have a maintenance person any longer on staff, correct?
It's in the air.
It's in the air, all right.
Yeah.
So the point is that we as volunteers are going around and picking up additional refuse and things that are left behind by trespassers because they throw things on the ground or as they garbage pails. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
So the point is that
Thank you.
be aware, please, if you see something, take action, you can
Right.
call the police department, they are ready to assist.
All right, and as always, gas powered motors are not permitted on the lake at any time. We get emails all the time from new residents that ask things like this, and they're good questions. They really are. And to be honest, I know after you're a seasoned BDL resident, we start to forget that when we were new. I was even new 10 years ago. There's even that year where did you even know there was a board? So let's educate. Let's educate our neighbors that there is a board and the purpose for the board and give them the email. All right, all anglers, which are fishermen, must possess a valid New York State fishing license at all times. If you're 16 years or older, and this has always been, there's never been, this is a private lake, I'm allowed to fish here. That's not a thing, and if you did it before, you were breaking the law then. Possible live in-person sticker registration event at community building, is that something that we're still doing? Or are we
We
gonna
talked
hold off?
about
Are
it,
we gonna
but then
hold
the
off?
issue came up, regarding possibly, these permits are good till the end of the year. In
Yeah,
which case there'll be a massive in-person changeover.
Yeah, I mean, can we still say if people start asking?
Sure, I mean, it's
Right.
something that Larry and I could do very quickly.
Right, but at the moment, that's something that,
Anybody.
And
You
of
could-
course,
you
Molly.
could, and Molly is here also. There are applications, hanging outside the door at Reserve, 4, so that there's a paper version and there is a digital version as a link currently, right? Is that on the
It's
bottom
on
of
the
our email?
county, it's on the county link.
Is on the,
I believe it should be on the email as well, which
So-
speaks to the county.
so that, yeah, the helpful links, blue links at the bottom of our emails, there is a, hot link that will bring you to the.
And newly added for your fishing license.
Oh, very good. Oh, so links to the DEC website to
Yes,
get a license?
somebody asked about it in the email. I thought it would be a good idea to add it for
Very,
future.
very good, very good. Non-stickered registration autos and boats are not permitted on reserves. Please prevent the aquatic hitchhikers. We spoke about that last time. Those are organisms that stick to the bottom of your boat because you may have been at another water body and now you're bringing that to us. You're contaminating our lake with other lakes. And please do not put it in the Hudson River and bring it in here without washing your boat. Yes, with soap and water. Most likely vinegar. Vinegar is probably your best
Oil.
solvents.
Oil.
Yeah, yeah. All right, USDA geese program, in June, Larry spoke about, in May, Larry spoke about it. Anything new, Larry, in June?
We've added more people on to the USDA has a goose. The part of the Department of Defense, because we're so close to Stewart Airport, this is a free program for us. It doesn't cost us anything. We have a Canadian goose team who will come around, survey the geese. They've taken different actions over the last couple of years. I pretty much maintain open dialogue with Tyler at the USDA.
Are they planning a roundup?
Yes, so we did have 2 surveys because they can't just show up one day and start trying to round them up. They have to figure out where they're gonna be at what time.
They're having a convention on.
Yeah, Reserve 2 right now is a hot spot. Yeah, so I do send photos in. So currently, we have at least 40 residents who have signed up for access for the USDA to access their property because they do need permission to access your property to round the geese up. So we added on about 5 or 6 additional properties that are key properties next to reserves. Those are all signed up and ready to go. We do believe that the roundup will be happening sometime around the 21st of June.
No way.
Yes, sir.
If we sign up for the permissions for them in prior years, do we need to do it again
Doesn't
this
need to
year?
be redone.
Oh.
Once you're on.
Didn't know that.
So, yeah, so then again, there are people who got special requests. They don't want the mute swans to be touched. And those requests would likely be honored, even though they are invasive
I haven't
species.
seen any from.
Yeah, so our bird count is very, very good at this point, even though we did see many, new hatchlings. So from the last years, we've been above 300 and currently we are well less than 100 birds. So, all right, the roundup is coming. I'll just switch real quick. If anybody needs an email address, you can reach out to me or the board, Tyler Delisle at USDA, and we can make that available to you if you want to sign up to allow your property to be accessed. You're like, oh, I've got 1 million geese on my property. I really would like you to come during the roundup. You can access my property. We get you signed up. Community events, past events,
Sorry, do you want to spell the email? Is it worth it?
Sure,
Do we have a way to?
Tyler,
We have an overhead.
TLYER dot D as in David, dot Delisle, DELISLE at USDA.gov. Tyler D. Delisle at USDA.gov.
All right,
Okay,
thank you, Larry.
that's a long one. Community events. So again, as we're always looking to push for a great inclusive community, we've had some past events with a lot of success. We've had a few things going on. We did help get things together with Chrissy Wilbur, who organized the famous Beaver Dam Lake yard sale for May 19th, May 18th. And it was 40+ homes. Chrissy Wilbur took the time to map it out, make the whole thing. So a nice success for those who were involved. Painting class. We did have a few painting classes. Actually, we did paint some wine glasses here at no cost. It was all covered by your generous donations. And then we did have a painting class that was an easel class taught by a teacher. Very, very nice painting and organizing. We really enjoyed it. About a 90-minute class here at the community building. We do like to keep those activities going. Again, people did volunteer for the beach cleanup, and we did last month before we did a cleanup of all the reserves for trash for Earth Day, and that was extremely successful. Future events, jewelry making with Cecilia. We have a local artist in the area who is always willing to volunteer her time and extremely generous and purchases the supplies. You can make a donation towards that if you come and participate in these activities, not a requirement. We did have a Zumba class here that was a free Zumba class. 20 people really enjoyed it. If people want to get back into the Zumba, we could, again, try to schedule that. Tarot cards and things like, we have a resident reach out and they were saying, hey, I do tarot and healing stones. And I said, look, as long as you're not charging, we'd be happy to
Let me get some.
allow you to come down and show your stuff if you want. We'll get that out there. Another comedy show is coming up as well, Beaver Dam Lake Comedy Show. So Ryan Dalton, he is a resident in Beaver Dam Lake. He is a comedian and a professional boxer. And he did run the comedy show with 3 other guests here a month ago. We had a great time. So much so that people want to come back. So that's going to be happening within the next few weeks. The Dungeons and Dragons Club, which potentially Jason may be involved with, or Leah, our ladies group organizer. She's trying to get these things together. So we are constantly working on stuff. Keep your eye out on the A-frames. I do use Facebook. It is not a board communication, but just as a social media platform. And when necessary, we'll send out a blanket email with multiple things through the mailing list. That's all I really have. Really having a great time, getting to know so many people, and I'm getting a lot of great feedback.
Thank you, Larry. And it's that time of year, you know, we're not huddled in the houses anymore. We finally had some warm bodies in the building tonight, which is nice. We do invite people to come down in person. Since COVID, the numbers have dwindled. And the idea of being able to do things hybrid and put it on video is certainly a plus, because we get to store these, and there are plans to start making, maybe if we could try to get some snippets. We'll see. Jason, I had mentioned that to Jason, if there was like a minute of the board meeting that was pertinent and something that we could float into a post of some sort.
Yeah, I haven't saved the prior ones since they're loaded up, but I'm pretty sure you can pull your videos down, something I have to figure out.
Yeah, just an idea. But I think maybe if we could look into saving data, AJ's presentation separately,
Yeah,
that's something we could do.
I could do that for this run as well.
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of info there
I can make them 2
that we
separate
could
videos.
snip up his whole and that meeting.
Yeah,
Could help
I could-
us out a
I
lot.
could do one video for this meeting and then another video for that, and make note that please see this video.
Yeah, because when certain questions are asked right away, I was like, oh, he's answering these 30 questions that we get asked, and we could just go, see this video, see this video, see this.
I can get it done in post.
Beautiful. You're the man. All right, resident forum, board member comments. Does anybody have anything? It's been a long meeting.
No.
All right, I do. We'll get one, 1 second. If you actually go ahead. So if you want to say,
As far as what I was gonna say about, you know, the aqua check, I gave you the information.
Yep, I have it.
If anybody wants to follow up on it. On Reserve One, I've watched them come in with the boats, you know, the.
Oh, they had the fan boat.
Yeah.
Pond Lake.
Can they get a little closer to the edge? Because it seems that they stop and then it kind of, you know, like, we really have to concentrate at that edge. You know,
So one of the things I know, and that question has been asked, is that once it hits the water, it does disperse over several hours and days. So as long as that spray is hitting anywhere within 5 feet of the shore, that will get there, because are you speaking about plants or are you speaking about algae? In the water?
that green skunks.
Oh, well, that's just algae. That we're never gonna get rid of,
They
ever.
can't treat that
Yes.
at all.
That quarter's tough, because I've gone that side.
It catches.
Everything,
All the
everything always blows that way.
There and Larry's.
So
Yeah.
raking mechanical means, like asking Larry, because he's down there too, mechanical means.
You need physically removing.
Fortunately or unfortunately is like the most effective way is literally raking and scooping it up. So, yeah. It's one of the, because in terms of chemical, you're not going to get rid of it. If anything, it's gonna be
Yeah, you
dead.
need a
Again,
mechanic.
and then they,
And then it's
new
gonna
ones.
conglomerate, and then it sinks to the bottom, and then you rake it out anyway. I have a cove. I'm one with the fountain, so if you're driving down Lake, you see my fountain out. So that cove is just as bad as Larry's, it's just smaller. And it catches everything because it's on the east wind, it's easterly, and it catches wind, and so the only way I can ever get anything out of there is raking it. Fan boat does get in there, but then what it does is it kills it and then it sinks. So, I know that's not a solution.
Now, Janet, if you ever wanted to, we could assemble a small crew of volunteers, if you could spread the word, and we could come, and we could
Yeah.
invest some time in Reserve One. There are neighbors out there that I do communicate with on a regular basis. We have talked about in the
Yeah.
past having a little bit of a get together over there to make more of a better boat launch for those who want to drop a kayak in. And again, I mean, I'm right across there. I'm constantly scooping my own property,
Yeah.
but I would have no problem investing a couple of hours, as long as it's not just gonna be me, right? So I would go there and then we could rake the algae out. We won't be able to get that whole thing because it's immense,
Yeah,
but we can bring it in. It does dry up and become fairly lightweight. It's very fibrous and it dries well. So if you,
But there's nothing you can spray on the surface.
No, not really.
and if you did, and it did die, it's going to go down into the water and it's not gonna be gone. It's gonna create more of
yeah,
it.
it's releasing more nutrients, it's just. It goes back
That's
to the
kind of what
cycle that
AJ
AJ was
yeah.
talking
no, it's,
But if you take it out of, physically take it out of the lake, that's actually taking nutrients out of the lake, so it's a free method. Other than your time and labor.
Well, I wasn't here, but when the lake was drained, right,
Mm-hmm.
I think it filled up after I bought my house, or before I bought.
oh,
the
okay.
house. Wasn't a lot of that stuff, that debris, like, didn't it?
Well, the
die?
debris is separately. This is something differently entirely. It's different entirely. So yes, there was a mass amount of cattails that took hold. And at that area had a harvest. The stalks themselves, because it's so shallow, and I remember this from the presentation with Northeastern Aquatics. It takes anywhere between 2 to 10 years for some of those cattail stalks to decompose, so we're only in like year 3 or 4, but it is getting better.
I've walked in Reserve One when we did the Earth Day cleanup,
Right.
and it is muck.
Yeah,
I got
Yeah,
stuck
sure.
a lot.
Sure, and like as AJ said, a lake is always catching sediment, and it's. The only way it's going to get better in that regard is we have to mechanically remove it.
And the stormwater runoff dumped
Yeah.
a ton of sediment.
Have they ever talked about dredging?
So dredging is a completely different thing. So we're talking about raking. Dredging is, you need licenses, you need the DEC.
Would the county do that?
No, that is not, no, so that would have to go through the DEC, and I would think that would be more of a state thing. And plus you have to also, so without going into this on because we are at a board meeting, but there would have to be a needs assessment. You know, why would we, what's the benefit of dredging it? Because it's gonna cost a lot of money. You're gonna be bringing in mechanical, you have to have a backhoe. on the side, on the shore,
And
so.
what do you do with it?
What do you do with it?
Yeah.
What do you do with it? Yeah, and it's.
It'd be considered toxic waste, so it has to be, not, you just.
So your question is great, because there's so many residents that have these thoughts. And it's like, so if we were to dredge, what do you do with the fill? It can't just be put
It's
anywhere.
considered hazardous
It's
waste.
considered hazmat. Because of its phosphorus, nitrogen, all these so it needs to go in a place where it can be leached to. A forest, plants to use the nutrients. If it's anywhere near water, it's just being sent to another water body. So it's not such a, it's not something that, like, us as a board, we can work on getting the right people involved. But that's to that scale of dredging, that's not something that we even have the power to do. That would be the county at minimal, but that's state, because dredging is, there's a lot of licenses you have to get to even disturb the body of, the lake, the bottom of a water body. In general, for habitat reasons, just
Just
alone.
even to put a
Here.
pier in. You're limited to how much you can disturb the bottom of the surface of the sediment in the lake.
Which is why a lot of them are just stands, like,
Yeah.
feet,
They're
feet.
all-
Yeah, they're not put down into the, into
They're
the.
floating piers.
Yeah, they're floating or they have seasonal stilts.
A lot of that muck is also holding back nutrients in the
Mhm.
ground cycle. There's still. Most oxygen decomposition is done through with the oxygen, but on the no oxygen layer, there's a Ignatus one, which is why the stinky sulfur smell that you get, it's a slower form, but it also is another way of breaking down, and that gets trapped in the soil.
Right.
And if you disturb that, then that's releasing a ton at once into the soil column.
And the only way, and we can all sit here and say that if the lake were deeper, it might be better. A couple inches is not gonna make a difference.
Yeah.
You need feet.
You need feet.
So that pretty much ends other opinions, but if the lake were, say, 10 inches higher, we could still have the exact same situation over there. Maybe it's delayed. It might be delayed into the season because the water wouldn't heat up as fast, but. Okay, thank you, Janet. It's it's noted. And this is the longest meeting that I have been involved with, but it's all good. I do want to say something, so in terms of lifeguards. So, in the past, welfare and safety have been in question for our lifeguards. And I'm kind of speaking about something that Chairman Blows brought up about a year ago, about a zero tolerance policy. So our lifeguards are going to be high school students.
Thank you.
And
Thanks.
you're welcome, John, thank you for coming. So please understand that they're there to do a job. So when we have our lifeguards, anything that is considered harassment, you will be asked to leave. And law enforcement will be involved. So that is just something that we want to say to anybody that's coming to the beach. There have been some, whether they're residents or not, approach lifeguards in the past. It's wrong. Please do not do it. Keep everything tasteful and enjoy your day. So this is something I want to say as a resident. All right. With that, anybody else? Molly? Do you have anything? All right, we have broken the 2-hour mark, I think. Do we have anything online? Are there any residents online that have any comments? And
Any new,
please know that if you have a comment in this part of the meeting, you have maximum 3 minutes of time.
Bear in mind, we added in an expert for an hour, so we had a nice agenda for ourselves, and then we had a great guest who was extremely informative. And I know I learned a lot, and I really, I look forward to the future plans with AJ and GEI.
Laura has unmuted, do you have a question?
I do. I joined late, so I apologize. I missed the part about the boats. Like, are we not going to be able to leave our kayaks anymore at the lake?
No, that is not part of it at all. No, so, we were talking about it in terms of the tree tonight. So at Reserve Two, all the boats and kayaks we're trying to get them out of the way so that we can have the tree taken down, and then at the same time, for next year, we're actually increasing our capability, but that takes some work. So kayaks and such are gonna be at times asked to be moved. Just so you know that the board may move your kayak or your boat to another portion of the reserve. But those are all gonna change with the policies for next year, 2025. So, no, to answer your question, you still be able to leave your kayak, but please on a rack only. That's going to be something.
Okay,
Yeah.
but there's
that's-
only one rack, right? There's only one rack?
Which,
I thought I only saw one like kayak rack that was built.
which reserve are you speaking of?
Well, I thought I only saw it at Reserve One, the kayak rack. It was like
Oh,
a newly built thing.
Oh, okay, so I think you mean two. So
Oh,
that,
sorry.
no, that's okay. So that rack you're speaking of, that was kind of a demo version that was built by another resident. That I was sort of overseeing, and it was intended to be a canoe rack. And
Oh.
as you could tell, it's not quite finished. It's a
I thought it
design.
was excellent because it was like off the ground. I thought it was really nice. Yeah.
Thank you for the feedback, and that, so in a sense, that's what we're trying to do with the other racks. So the other racks right now are they're behemoths, they're really big. And the idea is that we're gonna kind of raise them up, put a second level. And so there will be more capacity, but the one you're speaking of, that still has potential to be used in the other parts of the lake, but that specifically is for lighter boats, kayaks, canoes, not rowboats. Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, please use that, it is not finished. One of the things the board was gonna do is put a sign on it to say, this is for kayaks, this is for canoes, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah,
But so right now you're taking care of a tree, right? That was,
it's being completely
I wish I
removed.
knew Reserve One or Two. Like I wish I knew which one.
Two,
There's a big
there
green
are,
sign.
there are signs on all reserves, the big green
Okay.
sign, numbers on them. It's
Okay, so
139 short.
So.
okay, all right. So I live more towards like Cumberland Farms. So when I come down, the first one is on the left. That's
Yeah,
where you built.
That's a parking area, reserve one, that was the.
That's one. Okay, and then the second one is two next to the blue
That has the
house.
larger, yes, sorry, go ahead.
Okay,
that is-
all right. That's where I have my kayak right now, and I just keep saying, like, I don't know, do I have to pull it out because I really want to use it? So you
Yes,
know.
please take, yes, but so this is what will happen, if you don't take it, I'm gonna, is yours happen to be unlocked right now?
It's on a lock.
Okay, so what will happen is anyone that are locked when we get to Saturday and Sunday. I plan on actually backing the screws out of the racks themselves to take apart some of the racks. So we're not gonna cut anything, but your kayak will have to come off. So you have the choice between now and then to come get it yourself.
Okay. Am I,
or-
but I'm at the one next to the really pretty big blue house,
That's three.
where, Dawn lives.
So three, that's the skinny.
That's
the
where
skinny
mine
one.
is.
Yeah, that's not being dealt with at the moment, but that is,
Okay.
that reserve is next in line.
Okay, okay, so I don't have to take it out this weekend.
No,
Correct, yeah,
Okay.
all our
I just have a
correspondence,
hard time getting it back to my house.
yeah, all the correspondences have been about reserve two only.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we've been saying that reserve two and three are the focus of where the racks will be fixed and moved. But yeah, and by the way, board members will help you, so reach out to us if you ever need help moving kayaks or boats.
All right,
That's-
thank you. No, thank
Yeah.
you. That was my concern. I'm like, well, I just want to follow your rules and I'm not sure what they are. So, and I keep
Sure.
seeing the signs.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
and
thank you.
and that's the reason for the policy change, because we're gonna make everything
Okay.
quite clear for next year. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
For the world's longest meeting.
no, it's not.
No, there's been you've been a part of longest?
Of the old
Okay,
days, yes.
Good, all right, I feel better. I feel better, I feel better.
Oh, the guest.
Motion to adjourn.
Ah, yeah,
Second.
All in favor.
I.
aye.
Good night, everybody.